pleasure to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Kenneth E, who is the Secretary of the National Spiritual Assembly of Baha'i in the United States.
Okay, we're good. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you here this morning. You saw in the intro this morning, the video, a few of the general teachings and history of the Bahá'í Faith, and I was asked also to give a brief overview of the faith. And so what I'd like to do this morning is to dwell on a few other aspects of its history and its teachings for you this morning. But first, just an observation, which is that as we survey the challenges that face us in the modern world, it's becoming ever more clear that humanity as a whole is in need of new methods of collaboration and priority setting. We're being challenged to rethink age-old assumptions about the nature of progress, the administration of justice, and the basis for international peace. At the most foundational level is the need for a global ethic, a unifying vision of the nature of man and of society, a vision that will enable every human being to participate in advancing human civilization and partaking of its benefits. Remarkably, among the first to address this need and this vision was not a contemporary thinker or statesman, but rather a 19th century Iranian nobleman known to history as Baha'u'llah, an Arabic title which in English means the glory of God. As you saw in the video, Baha'u'llah claimed to be the latest in a series of God's messengers. Baha'u'llah's spiritual and ethical teachings embrace all aspects of the human condition, offering a prospect for achieving the age-old dream of peace on earth. Baha'u'llah taught that there is one God, and stated that all of the world's religions come from that one God. Baha'u'llah upheld the validity and divine inspiration of the great prophets and messengers of the past, all of whom were sent by God for the purpose of educating and uplifting humanity according to the needs of the times when they appeared. Baha'u'llah stated that the time in which we live is the age of humanity's social and spiritual maturation, an age destined to witness the unification of the world, universal justice, and the permanent establishment of peace. He offered principles that address the needs of the present era. Among them is the principle of the oneness of humanity, a principle that in and of itself has vast moral and social implications. This principle encompasses the equality of women and men, as well as the equality of all the races. The harmony of science and religion is another essential principle, as is the principle of independent investigation of truth on the part of every individual. Among others are the need for elimination of all forms of prejudice, the equitable and sustainable use of the world's resources, the elimination of extremes of wealth and poverty, the need for universal access to education, and the need to put an end to all forms of injustice and oppression. To accomplish these goals, Baha'u'llah said that the time has come to establish a system of world order to ensure a permanent peace among the nations of the world, an order free of excessive nationalism. Our next presenter will offer more details about that, so I won't go into it at this point. Like all of the great religious teachers before him, Baha'u'llah bore great suffering for the sake of his mission. For well over 4 decades, he endured virtually every conceivable misfortune, forsaking a life of wealth and privilege for one of imprisonment, brutal tortures, and successive banishments. He was exiled ultimately, as you saw in the video, to the prison city of Akka, which was then a part of the Ottoman Empire, but of course today is in the state of Israel. There, Baha'u'llah spent the final years of his life until his death at the age of 75 in 1892. As most of you are well aware, his followers in Iran also were severely persecuted, and this is a situation that remains true up until this day. But in spite of the hardships that he endured, Baha'u'llah succeeded in establishing a world religion that has grown to between 5 and 6 million adherents in some 100,000 localities in virtually every nation and territory on earth. The Bahá'í Faith, then, is the most recent of the world's religions, and it is an independent religion. Often the Baha'is are mistaken as a sect of Islam because it originated in an Islamic context, but this would be no more true than saying that Christianity, because of its Jewish roots, is merely a sect of Judaism. The Baha'is have our own scripture, which includes prayers written by Baha'u'llah, and various laws guiding personal conduct and morality. Baha'is also have our own calendar, which sets specific times for community worship, for fasting, and the observance of Baha'i holy days. And as a matter of fact, today happens to be a Baha'i holy day, the birthday of the Bab, whom you saw mentioned at the opening in this video. The Baha'is also have a unique system of community organization designed by Baha'u'llah. First, there is no clergy in the Baha'i faith. Instead, all of the members are responsible for developing their spiritual lives according to their own understanding and application of Baha'u'llah's teachings. And all share in enhancing the spiritual life and vitality of the community. Administrative bodies do exist, and they are elected at the local, national, and international levels in a process free of electioneering and partisanship. These bodies are expected to operate in a mode of consultation and service as they address the needs of believers, but also of the larger society. Overall, the pattern of life the Baha'is are trying to build is one that acknowledges and preserves the roles of the individual, the institutions of society, and the community as a whole in achieving the goal of human well-being. The Baha'is comprise the full racial, cultural, and religious heritage of humanity, and in a meaningful sense, they also portend humanity's capacity to destroy the barriers that have prevented us from living together in harmony. Baha'is have faith that humanity will ultimately achieve a lasting world peace, but we also recognize that it will not come of its own accord. Humanity's age-old sufferings can and will be alleviated to the extent that people of the world work in common cause together, embracing a truly global vision and in a sincere desire for the welfare of all, strive together to advance both the spiritual and material dimensions of civilization. The process must be one that embraces every level of society, from the local to the global, wherein all human beings become agents empowered to advance themselves and society as a whole. For this reason, the Baha'is work with like-minded people, learning how to apply these principles for the betterment of the world. I'll close with two statements from Baha'u'llah. The first, the well-being of mankind, its peace and security are unattainable unless and until its unity is firmly established. And let not a man glory in this, that he loves his country. Let him rather glory in this, that he loves his kind. In the following presentations, my colleagues will describe how the Baha'is have sought to promote these principles in the international arena and at the level of grassroots community building. Thank you.